both of these. They're separate pipelines, but they have a lot of very similar concerns. I introduced a bill along with a Republican House member, Morgan Griffith, to rewrite the FERC permitting process. Congress shouldn't be making the decision about pipeline routes, because to have 535 people making a decision, you would never have it. There needs to be a federal administrative process that will make these decisions, but the process has to include public input. There weren't sufficient public meetings under the current law. Under the current law, a lot of the public meetings got packed before anybody could even get to the public meeting to speak. The proponents of the pipeline had folks there first, and so they didn't really get to talk. The transcript that was prepared of the public meetings, I had a chance to look at some of the transcripts, and they were just filled with errors, like the court reporter didn't care because nobody was going to read it anyway. So we wrote a bill over a year ago that we've introduced, and we're trying to figure out a way to move it, maybe as part of an infrastructure bill. I've tried to attract Republican support by making it a bill about eminent domain. If you're going to use eminent domain to take any property for a project, and frankly that's every pipeline project, then it ought to meet elevated standards. And so we're trying to get that bill passed to change the process.
It might be true, like the clock is ticking.
Second, I did weigh in on both of these projects. Some of you know this, but for those that don't, FERC has to approve the projects, and they have a 5-member commission. When they approved both projects at kind of a weird timing in the late fall, the commission had 2 vacancies, and they approved both projects by a 2-to-1 vote. It's very rare that there's ever a dissent. So if they had waited just for a month until the thing was filled out, it could have gone the other way. So I've weighed in along with the activists to say you ought to rehear, and just rehear with the full 5. Now, thus far they have turned that down, but I will say the current FERC chairman has said, I agree that the process needs to be redone. I have a feeling, though, that the way he would like to redo it is not the same way that I would like to redo it. But what I'm going to do, and I've also spoken to law enforcement out in Western Virginia and continue to speak to people who oppose the pipelines, I'm going to do everything I can to change the process. But I'm not going to, and I don't think members of Congress should decide what the routes are. We got to make sure that the process is fair. I'm going to come here, Lisa.
So can you talk a little bit about